Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, and I am back with, I guess you can call this a video blog this week. I wanted to talk about a couple of things on showing your art in public, as well as show some pictures from the recent Pittsburgh event, Art All Night. I had a video that I put up last year. It was just basically me wandering around the event and showing a little bit of the live painting demonstration. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do something a little more simple this year, just do a few pictures, talk about the event, and maybe something else too. So before we get to the pictures, I did want to talk a little bit about last year's project. Now, last year I worked with a really great artist by the name of Marlana. She's another great artist here in the city. She has a DeviantArt page, which I'll link to in the description box below, as well as her website. And I worked so well with her last year that the coordinator, as well as I think just the two of us in general, were like, we're going to do another project together. We had a nice sort of melding of things and everything like that. So we had actually a little more time on a project. We were back in February. We were thinking about doing a project together, and we were like, might as well just wait for Art All Night. But you might see another one from us later in the year. So we had more time to think about it. And yeah, we pretty much wasted it. We didn't really come up with a solid idea until pretty much the night of. One thing that she did do, which I thought was really great, is because we were painting live, and you'll see a picture of this later, but people sort of looking down at all of us, and a great way she thought for advertising was to get our Twitter names on the back of sweatshirts. So she got one with my name and one with hers. So as we were working, and just the two of us sort of matching in black sweatshirts, and oddly enough black pants too, that was totally unplanned. So people could see our contact info as we were working, so they can punch into their smartphones. So I thought it was a really good sort of just promotional tool for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few images tonight. So if you saw the video from last year, you'll probably recognize the building. Anyway, it's just this giant warehouse that they just load with like art, and there's bands playing, and there's some demonstrations for art and things. Really great. The interesting thing this year is this is the last year that this warehouse was going to be standing. They're going to tear it down and put some apartments here. So they actually let everybody paint on the side of the building and everything. So you'll see bits of graffiti art throughout the night and everything like that, which I think was a really great way to sort of both to draw people in and sort of sum up the space as how it's been used the past 18 years. Here's a good look at some of the graph that showed up, as well as this is sort of looking down on the live art, and you'll see the piece Marlana and I worked on a little bit further down along the line here. But this is sort of the general idea. This is pretty early in the night, probably about 6:30 or something like this, that I ended up taking this picture. Also got a few pictures of some really great, there were a few pieces that really stood out to me, and this is one of them. I don't particularly know the medium here. I think it's just listed as concrete, which is kind of vague. I don't know if it's just like pigment and I mean, I don't know. Here's the artist tag at me. It just says concrete. So I was like, okay, I don't really know. I mean, it had a nice texture to it, but yeah, it was really kind of hard to tell. This was interesting. This was a guy, I guess, trying to break the world record for beatboxing. So he just kind of locked himself in this little room and just sat there and was doing his thing for a while. Turned out that Marlana actually knew him. For some reason, like, I know that guy. We were like walking past. It was hilarious. But yeah, so this is a good example of just, yep, they're just gonna paint the side of the walls and everything, and it turned out really nice. There's my piece in the lower right-hand corner. I took Between Two Worlds. I'll throw an annotation around here somewhere for the PPV on that. But it was pretty neat. I actually noticed a small speck of dust on mine. I was able to wipe that off a little bit later, though. This is a nice sort of panoramic shot of sort of the entrance to the warehouse and sort of the gathering of people. Now, there were a lot more people than this later in the night, but again, this was pretty early on. This was another fun one. This one, when I show the tag right after this, the guy's like 26, so he's like, he's like my age, so it's actually kind of fun knowing that. But this is actually an oil painting, and that just blew me away. I was like, from a distance, I was like, oh, that's an interesting photograph. And I got closer and I was just like, whoa! I mean, I know some of you might be like, ooh, ketchup through a straw, but it's like, yeah, believe it or not, being from Pittsburgh and being that Heinz ketchup was made here, it's like, yeah, if you're not having Heinz ketchup, there's something wrong with you. It's just the title, yeah, it's that good. Oil on canvas. Now this is down in what they call the pit, which is the area for the collaborative painting and all the live artists to be doing their thing. On the left there, you notice two people. On the very far left, it's James Bristol, who was my partner for the first year I did collaborative painting. Really fun guy, great to talk to in terms of art and everything like that. And to his left, and I guess right of him for the photo, is his partner. Didn't bother, but I think her name was Lisa. Sorry if you're watching this and I'm butchering her name and I'm forgetting her name, but Lisa bought Marlana and I's piece from last year. So I actually got to meet her and gave her my card. I hope she sends me a picture of the piece hanging up. But it was the Childhood Dreams, I think was the name of the piece. Girl on this floating island. Really a fun project. It was cool to be able to meet her, to be able to have that connection, and you know, she talked to the both of us about the piece and everything. So it was really great. So this was our piece. There's Marlana, of course. Yeah, she's working on this figure, and I spent most of the time getting the whole landscapey background taken care of. And yeah, I was basically, for this piece I just wanted to do something with a sky, and we were originally playing around with the idea of a grassy field, but then she had the idea, she's like, what about like a beach in the ocean? And I'm like, that's a much easier idea than a grassy field. And it actually worked in our favor because I think we were done around midnight. We had to be done by 1. So I think if we had chosen to have done the grassy field, it would have looked relatively terrible. There's, again, here on the far right, this is James and I think, pretty sure it's Lisa. That was their piece, pretty much finished there on the right. And a few other people sort of starting in the corner. A closer look at that figure. It's actually pretty interesting that just the way that she did the line work, she was able to use the color of the sky as a backdrop, and not even she didn't even paint the girl's face. She just kind of left it sort of that little bit of the black paint and sort of that like dirty. The finished piece looks really good. You'll see it at the end here. Spent a lot of time on these little bubbles and things, and with working on the ocean and everything like that, it was a lot about trying to get her cloak to sort of reflect the themes of the sea. So she painted these fish and all these little bubbles on it, which I thought was a really great addition to her character. This was fun. There's a lady, and I don't know if it's her son that's kind of helping her out here or what, but it's a chicken and a dinosaur and an egg. I guess to the age-old question, which came first, the chicken or egg? It's like, well, now you know. Talked to her a little bit later in the night. She's like, I just wanted to do something different. I'm like, well, you did something pretty different. This was another finished piece that I thought it turned out pretty good. These people worked really hard on it. Interesting use of, they tacked string around to the edge, and interesting use of both 2D and 3D here. These guys are crazy. They do really elaborate graphical spray paint marker art every year, and so their stuff is always really, really strange. And this was our finished piece. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot to the fish and the bubbles and the figure and everything. We ended up calling this piece Guardian of the Sea. Towards as she was finishing up the figure, and I actually went in. I kind of feel like it was like we just did our own things, but there was a few things with the figure that I'm like, I gotta touch this up a little bit. Like there are some things that are just bothering me that I know probably won't bother anyone else, and I went in and added some additional lines to her. And a couple things just to clean things up and make it sort of reflect the sky a bit more. But yeah, it was such a fun piece to work on, and I think it's roughly like 2 by 4 feet ish. To be honest, I'm not really sure. I think my they upload to DeviantArt at 2 by 3 feet. I think it's closer to 2 by 4, 4.5. But either way, yeah, it was really a fun piece to work on. I do know that it sold for around $200, and I hope whoever has this piece now, they're really enjoying it. But yeah, when it came to titling the piece, it was a lot of I wanted it to be just. I was thinking about her, I was trying to think about the story that she came sort of to terms with, and because I look at her face, she seems very sad. She's not real happy to be there. Maybe she lived by the sea her entire life, and at some point she was like drafted into being like sort of this priestess for her village. So she's there and she has a duty, but she's not real happy about it. She's like still wants to be a kid. So that's all like reflecting on her face, and just standing there letting the wind blow her cloak. And I thought it was so calling her the guardian of the sea, I thought was a really good summing up of the piece. And I kind of came up with these 3 ideas. I threw them on Twitter the other day, and they're persistence, consistence, and resistance. Persistence, just keep trying, keep pushing, just keep throwing your art out there. Eventually someone's going to see it and like it, and things will start snowballing. You'll meet this person who meets this person and everything else like that. And I'm really sort of on this snowball track right now. People are seeing me here, and they're starting to recognize my work because they've seen it, in different places and everything like that. And it's sort of persistence. So keep pushing your stuff out there. Eventually you will start to get noticed a bit. The second principle is consistence. Consistence, I think, is not so much having a style or doing so much a lot of work, so much as that the work you're pushing to show is sort of a theme, it's relatable. I've been pushing a lot of my, I would say, paintings from the past couple of years. I have a lot of mixed media work too, but I haven't shown that as much. I would like to start showing it eventually, but it's one of those things where it's like the paintings are sort of the things that represent me more than the mixed media, although some people like the mixed media a little bit more, but it depends on the person and the venue. But I'm choosing to show my acrylic paintings and my sort of the best of my landscapes. So that is sort of my idea for consistency. So if you're going to show something, it doesn't, like, if you do a lot of different work, pick the thing that you do the most, or the thing that you like doing the most, and choose to show that. Don't try and show a variety, because people won't be able to recognize you that way. But when, like me, I'm showing my colorful paintings, like, oh, that's a bright, colorful, oh, that's one of Ben's, yeah, okay. So you click in someone's head that way, so you kind of keep coming back to that. It's the persistence of once you get in, to consistency of being recognized for the same types of things. And the final tip today is resistance. So it says persistence, consistence, and persistence. Persistence basically to not getting shown places, to bad critiques, to just people saying, it's not my thing. Don't let that bother you. Just keep going. It comes back to persistence again. It's like somebody not liking your work or not being able to get into a show. Don't let that keep you from trying to keep doing shows. Just let it pass. This one must not have been right. I'll try the next one. So again, persistence, consistence, and resistance. Those are my tips for showing your artwork and trying to get into different art galleries and things like that. I'm sure I'll have more tips later on as I get better at it. But yeah, so thanks for checking out my little review of my images from Art All Night, and I hope they do it next year. We won't have the warehouse as a venue, but I'm pretty sure they'll find something good for that as well. So be sure to check out my partner's art from Art All Night at Marlana Adele on Twitter, and you can check my stuff out at Cinderblog Arts on Twitter. And for more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the DMC Films and Cinderblog Studios channel here on YouTube. This has been. See you guys next time.